The dry heat of New Mexico hit me like a familiar slap as I stepped off the plane in Albuquerque. I'd flown 9 grueling hours from the chaos of deployment, my body still humming with the rhythm of distant explosions and endless patrols. But here, in the heart of the Southwest, the vast blue skies stretched out like a promise I wasn't sure I could trust anymore. I rented a pickup truck at the airport, tossed my duffel in the back, and headed straight for Mom's place in Santa Fe. The drive up I-25 was a blur of red rock canyons and pinyon pines, the kind of landscape that always made me feel grounded, even when everything else was unraveling. I hadn't told anyone my exact arrival time. Part of me wanted the surprise to feel like a gift, a way to slip back into the family fold without fanfare. But as I pulled onto Mom's quiet street, lined with low-slung adobe houses glowing under the afternoon sun, a knot tightened in my gut. The backyard gate creaked as I pushed it open, and the sounds hit me first, laughter bubbling over the strum of a guitar, the sizzle of burgers on the grill. String lights dangled from the Vegas, and the air smelled of mesquite smoke and fresh tortillas. It was Harper's birthday party, the one I'd crossed oceans to make. Then I heard it, low but unmistakable, drifting from behind a cluster of guests near the Kiva fireplace. She doesn't fit in anymore. This is our day. Why drag in the drama? It was Harper's voice, sharp as a switchblade, laced with that casual cruelty she reserved for moments she thought no one important was listening. My hand tightened around the bouquet of wildflowers I'd picked up during my layover, desert blooms, tough and resilient, like I thought we all were. A woman I vaguely recognized as Aunt Clara murmured back, "You've been the glue holding this together." She bailed out years ago. I froze in the shadows of a cottonwood tree, my heart pounding not from anger yet, but from that deep, aching recognition. They hadn't seen me, but I saw them. Harper in her flowy sundress, hair tied back with a turquoise clip, looking every bit the local artist who'd stayed and built something real. Mom, Evelyn, stood beside her, nodding faintly, her silver-streaked hair catching the light as she adjusted a platter of green chili enchiladas. I stepped forward anyway, forcing a smile. Hey, everyone. Made it after all. The shift was subtle, like a wind changing direction across the high desert. Harper's eyes widened in feigned delight. Riley, oh wow. We figured the flight got delayed or something. The hugs were exchanged, quick and perfunctory, the kind that left you feeling more isolated than before. Someone took my flowers, plunking them on the gift table without a word. I found a spot at the edge of the crowd, on a rickety lawn chair dragged from the shed, far from the main picnic table where place cards marked spots for the core family. From there, I watched Harper raise her glass for a toast. To all of you who've stuck around through the tough times, the house run us, the lonely nights, rebuilding what matters. You know who you are. Her voice cracked just right, earning murmurs of approval. Applause rippled through the group. I clapped too, but inside, a storm brewed. No mention of the deployments I'd endured, the letters I'd sent from dusty bases, the money I'd wired home to help with those very renovations. It was like I'd been photoshopped out of our shared history. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows over the yard, I wandered to the gift table. My flowers sat there, tag rewritten. From the group, a quiet rage simmered, but I pushed it down. This wasn't new, it was just louder now. Back in my chair, a cousin leaned over. Good you could drop by. Didn't know if you'd be stateside. No questions about the sand in my boots or the scars that weren't visible. I was the outsider in my own story. Later, the cake arrived, a towering creation with intricate southwestern motifs. Piñon nuts and chili peppers piped in icing. I'd ordered it special from a bakery in Qatar, emailing photos of our family home. Even the inscription, "To the heart that holds us." It had cost a month's hazard pay. "Who sent this beauty?" someone asked. Mom shrugged. "Must be from one of Harper's fans. Her art show's been buzzing." Fan. The word twisted like a knife. I turned away as they sliced into it, the cheers feeling like echoes from a life I no longer fit. By evening, photos were being snapped everywhere. I hovered at the edges, but when the group shot formed under the portal, Harper waved me off lightly. "Let's do one with the locals first, the ones who've been here day in, day out." Laughter followed. Flash. I wasn't in it. Checking my phone later, the post was up, surrounded by my rocks. The family that never left. Tagged everyone but me. That night, in the guest room, once my childhood bedroom, now stripped of any trace of me, I lay awake, the ceiling fan whirring like my racing thoughts. Why did coming home feel like vanishing? The next morning, coffee in hand, I scrolled through old emails. There it was, a thread about last year's family reunion in Taos. I wasn't CC'd. Harper's reply, "No need to bug Riley, she's always off-grid. Birthdays ignored. Mother's Days without a call." And that veteran fundraiser in Albuquerque? They'd used my deployment photo, but captioned it as Harper's tribute to our military roots. My name erased. I'd confronted Mom once. She'd brushed it off. "You're too sensitive."
Hun.
Life moves on. Sensitive?
No.
Exhausted.
Yes.
I started a list on my phone. Every omission, every rewrite. It grew longer than the Rio Grande. Not all battles are overseas. Some are fought in your own backyard, with whispers instead of weapons. The weight of that list pressed on me like the unrelenting New Mexico sun as I drove into town the next day. Santa Fe's historic plaza buzzed with tourists snapping pics of the palace of the governors, but I barely noticed. My mind replayed the party, each slight amplifying the ache in my chest. Why had I let it build to this? Harper's jealousy. I'd sensed it since we were kids. Her resenting my choice to enlist while she stayed. Painting and networking. Becoming the family anchor. Mom enabled it. Always smoothing over conflicts with that southwestern stoicism. Blood's thicker than water. But don't stir the pot. I stopped at a cafe on Canyon Road, ordered a black coffee, and pulled out my laptop. Digging deeper, I found bank statements from my deployments. I'd sent money home regularly, earmarked for the house upkeep, our dad's old place. A modest adobe ranch he'd left to both of us in his will. But the transfers? Routed to an account in Harper's name. No wonder the renovations looked so polished. A quick call to my military benefits advisor confirmed it. Survivor stipends claimed under my service record, but disbursed to Mom. Legal? Barely. If you squint, but ethically?
I got punch.
My phone buzzed. A text from Uncle Jack. "Heard you made it back. Swing by the ranch sometime." He was the only one who'd ever asked about my tours, sharing stories from his own Vietnam days. I replied, arranging to meet. Driving out to his spread near Española, the landscape shifted to rolling hills dotted with juniper. The Sangre de Cristo Mountains looming like silent witnesses. Jack greeted me with a bear hug, his weathered face cracking into a smile. "You look like hell."
Kid.
"What's eating you?" Over iced tea on his porch. I spilled it, the party, the erasures, the financial sleight of hand. His eyes darkened. "Evelyn's always played favorites. Your dad would have hated this. That house was meant for both you girls." He pulled out old photos from a drawer, me and Harper as kids, riding horses in the arroyo, Dad in his uniform, proud at my enlistment ceremony. She cropped you out of the narrative because it's easier than admitting she failed at keeping us all together. Tears stung, but I blinked them back. What do I do? Uncle?
Confront them?
He leaned forward. Start with truth. But remember, families like these mountains erode them too hard, and you lose the view. His words lingered as I drove back. The sunset painting the sky in fiery oranges. That night, I overheard Mom and Harper in the kitchen. Riley's stirring things up, Harper whispered. Thinks she's entitled after being gone so long. Mom sighed. She's hurt. But we've built something here without her drama. Drama? My service wasn't drama, it was duty. The pain twisted deeper. A raw wound of betrayal mixed with longing for the family we'd once been. I didn't barge in. Instead, I recorded a voice memo to myself. They see me as the ghost who shows up inconveniently. But I'm real. Flesh and blood. With scars they ignore. Listening back, my voice cracked. Emotions flooding, anger. Yes. But beneath it, a profound sadness for what we'd lost. The following day, I met with a lawyer in Albuquerque, a no-nonsense vet advocate named Carla Ruiz. Her office overlooked the Sandia Mountains, a reminder of the bigger picture. I laid out the evidence, deeds with my name scratched from beneficiary lists, emails redirecting my benefits. This smells like undue influence and possible fraud, she said, scanning the docs. In New Mexico, probate law protects co-heirs. We can file for mediation first, keeps it out of court. More humane. Humane. The word stuck. Did I want revenge? Or resolution? As I left, a storm rolled in from the west, thunder echoing my turmoil. Back home, I found the family memory wall. In the living room, photos of holidays. Harper's art openings. Mom's community awards. My enlistment photo? Replaced with one of Harper at a local gallery. I touched the frame, whispering, why erase me? What did I do to deserve this void? Confrontation came that evening over dinner. Mom had made pozole, the steam rising like unspoken tensions. Harper avoided my eyes. We need to talk, I said, voice steady despite the quake inside. About the house. The money. The way you've written me out, Harper scoffed. You're paranoid. We've just moved on. Mom interjected. Riley, life's not a battlefield. Let it go. But I couldn't. I played a snippet of an old voicemail from Harper. Riley's benefits can cover the roof. She won't notice. Silence fell heavier than the rain outside. Tears welled in Mom's eyes. We were struggling. Thought you wouldn't mind. Mind? It wasn't about the money. It was the theft of trust. My heart ached for them. For us. You made me the villain in my own story, I said, voice breaking. But I'm not leaving without fixing this. That night, alone, I journaled furiously, emotions pouring out, the loneliness of deployment amplified by this home front betrayal, the yearning for belonging. It hurt more than any wound I'd bandaged overseas. But amid the pain, a flicker of empathy emerged. Maybe Harper's actions stemmed from her own insecurities. Mom's from fear of losing control. Still, I had to stand my ground. The mediation notice arrived like a thunderclap in the clear desert sky. Certified mail slipping under the door with a weight that belied its thin envelope. Carla had filed it swiftly, citing New Mexico's Uniform Probate Code, clear provisions against fraudulent omission of heirs. My chest tightened as I read it, emotion surging, vindication mixed with a profound grief for the family fractures we'd ignored too long. This wasn't just legal, It was the unraveling of illusions we'd all clung to. Harper called immediately, her voice a whirlwind of accusation and plea. "Riley, how could you drag lawyers into this? We're blood." I paced the guest room, the adobe walls closing in. "Blood doesn't erase each other. You redirected my benefits, rewrote Dad's will to cut me out. That's not family, that's theft." Silence stretched, then a sob. "I was jealous." "Okay, you left. Became the hero. I stayed. Fixed everything. But no one saw me." Her admission hit like a flash flood, raw, exposing the undercurrents of resentment that had eroded us. Mom's text followed, "Come home. Let's talk before it goes further." I drove back under a moonlit sky, stars piercing the darkness like unanswered questions. The house felt haunted, shadows dancing from the luminarias on the porch. We sat in the living room, the memory wall mocking us with its selective history. "Why?" I asked, voice trembling with pent-up hurt. Mom's hands shook as she poured tea. "After your dad died, things fell apart. Harper was here, you were gone." I leaned on her. "The money. It was a mistake. Born of desperation." "Mistake?" The word ignited a blaze of sorrow. "Desperation doesn't justify forgery. You signed my name off the deed." Tears streamed down her face. "I was scared you'd never come back. Wanted to protect what was left." Harper interjected, eyes red-rimmed. I pushed it. "Thought if I made the house mine, I'd finally matter more than your medals." The confessions poured out, a torrent of vulnerabilities, Harper's fear of being overshadowed, Mom's guilt over favoring the present child. My own pain echoed, the isolation of service, returning to find my place occupied.
Vi tok it till dawn.
Emotions cresting like waves in the Rio Grande. I shared deployment stories, the fear, the camaraderie, the letters home that went unanswered. They listened, really listened, for the first time. Harper admitted rewriting gift tags out of petty spite. Mom confessed to cropping photos to avoid painful reminders of my absences. It hurt, deeply, but in the vulnerability, cracks of understanding formed. "I never wanted to erase you," Mom whispered. "I just didn't know how to include the parts that scared me." By morning, we'd agreed to mediation not as adversaries, but as a path to mend. Carla facilitated in her Albuquerque office, the Sandia Peaks framing the window like impartial judges. We laid out the facts. The redirected stipends violated VA guidelines. The deed alterations breached state law. But amid the legalese, personal truths emerged. Harper offered restitution from her art sales. Mom proposed joint ownership. I didn't demand full control. Humane resolution meant shared healing. Emotions peaked when I played a recording of Dad's old voicemail. His voice gravelly. "Proud of you both. My desert roses." We all wept. The room thick with regret and love long buried. The agreement was signed. House reverted to co-ownership. Benefits repaid with interest. A family therapy clause added for ongoing dialogue. As we left, Harper hugged me fiercely.
I'm sorry.
Let's rebuild. The drive home was cathartic, tears blurring the highway, but a lightness settled, the weight of unspoken wounds lifting. Back in Santa Fe, we started small, a family dinner without pretense, sharing stories under the stars. I pinned my enlistment photo back on the wall, next to Harper's art. Emotions ran deeper now, a river of empathy carving through old resentments. But challenges lingered, trust rebuilt slowly, like monsoon rains filling dry arroyos. One night, alone on the porch, I reflected, betrayal had stemmed from pain we all carried. The lesson whispered gently, communication bridges even the widest chasms. Yet doubts crept in. Was this real change? Or temporary truce? Harper's art show invite arrived. My name prominently featured. At the gallery, surrounded by vibrant canvases of southwestern landscapes, she pulled me aside. This one's for you, The Returning Light. It depicted a figure emerging from shadows into sun-drenched canyons, symbolizing my journey. Tears flowed again. A cleansing release. Mom joined, her embrace warmer than memory. In that moment, the humanity of our flaws shone through. We were imperfect, but capable of growth. The weeks following mediation unfolded like a slow desert bloom after rain, emotions intensifying with each shared vulnerability. The house, once a symbol of division, became our neutral ground. We gathered there evenings, the portal alive with fireflies and the scent of blooming yucca. Harper opened up about her struggles, failed relationships, the pressure of being the stable one while I chased horizons. I envied your freedom, she confessed one night over homemade tamales, tears glistening. But it left me holding the bag, resenting you for it. My heart wrenched, her pain mirrored mine, a shared echo of abandonment. I enlisted to make Dad proud, to escape the small-town trap. But every tour, I wondered if I'd lost you both. Mom listened, her face etched with regret. I failed you girls. After your father passed, cancer eating him quick as a wildfire, I clung to what was here. Forgave myself by blaming distance. The admissions peeled layers, exposing raw nerves. I shared nightmares from deployment, the guilt of surviving when comrades didn't. They held my hands, sobs mingling, a catharsis deeper than any courtroom victory. Legally, things solidified. Carla ensured the deed transfer was refiled correctly at the Santa Fe County Clerk's office. My name reinstated as co-heir per New Mexico statute. The VA audited the misdirected benefits, issuing a repayment order with no penalties, a nod to our mediated resolution. Harper sold a painting to cover it, framing the check as our fresh start. But the true mending was emotional, a tapestry of forgiveness woven thread by thread. One afternoon, storm clouds gathered over the Jemez Mountains, mirroring my inner turmoil. I found an old box in the attic, Dad's letters, photos from our childhood hikes in Bandelier National Monument. Among them, a will addendum I'd never seen. To Riley and Harper, equal shares, with love that bridges any divide. Mom had hidden it, fearing conflict. Confronting her, tears streamed. I was wrong, terrified of losing more. Her vulnerability shattered me. I hugged her, whispering, "We're here now. Let's honor him together." Harper suggested therapy, a family counselor in Albuquerque specializing in veteran reintegration. Sessions were intense, emotions cresting like monsoons, accusations giving way to empathy, blame dissolving into understanding. Your erasure wasn't malice, the therapist noted. It was unprocessed grief. Harper nodded, eyes welling. I projected my insecurities onto you. Riley, I'm so sorry. The apologies flowed, healing salves on old wounds. My own guilt surfaced. I'd been distant, assuming they'd wait unchanged. The lesson crystallized. Families evolve. But love requires active nurturing. As bonds strengthened, small gestures amplified the emotion. Mom baked my favorite apple empanadas, reminiscing about Dad's stories. Harper invited me to collaborate on a mural for the Veteran Center in town, a depiction of resilience, blending military motifs with southwestern art. Painting side by side, brushes dipping into vibrant ochres and turquoises. We laughed through tears.
This is us, she said.
Not perfect, but real. Yet setbacks tested us. A cousin's gossip reached me. Riley's lawsuit tore them apart. Hurt flared. But we addressed it together. Mom posting a family photo online. Healing as one. Support poured in. From Jack's ranch hands to old platoon mates. One evening, under a canopy of stars, we lit a bonfire in the backyard. Burning old grievances symbolically, scraps of rewritten tags. Cropped photos, emotions peaked in a crescendo of release. To new beginnings, I toasted, voice thick. Harper clung to me, Mom enveloping us both. The fire's warmth mirrored the thawing in our hearts. Driving to my new job mentoring recruits at Kirtland Air Force Base, I reflected on the journey. The pain had been excruciating, a soul-deep ache, but it forged deeper connections. The humane path, choosing dialogue over destruction, taught a gentle lesson. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's the ultimate strength. The culmination hit like a high-desert gale. Emotions swirling in a vortex of final reckoning and profound renewal. Months into our rebuilt bonds, the true test came, Dad's anniversary at his grave in the Santa Fe National Cemetery. Sagebrush whispering under a relentless sun. We drove together, the truck cab thick with unspoken fears. Harper clutched wildflowers, Mom fiddled with her rosary. I led the way to the headstone, etched with his service dates. Kneeling, I traced the letters, tears blurring. We made it, Dad. Not without storms, but we're standing. Harper broke first, sobs heaving. I stole from you, Riley, your place, your legacy. Out of fear I'd never measure up. Her confession, raw and unfiltered, pierced me deeper than any betrayal. Mom joined, voice quavering. My silence enabled it. I was lost in grief, blind to the hurt I caused. We clung together, weeping amid the markers of fallen heroes. A tableau of fractured souls mending. I forgive you, I whispered, the words a balm on my scarred heart. And myself, for staying silent too long. From there, healing accelerated. We volunteered at a local VA center, sharing our story in support groups, anonymous at first, then openly. Veterans nodded, relating to homefront battles. One woman approached. Your forgiveness inspired me to reach out to my estranged kids. The ripple effect amplified my emotions. A swell of purpose amid lingering pain. Legally, closure came via a quiet court affirmation in Bernalillo County. The mediation agreement upheld. No further disputes. Carla called. You chose mercy over malice. That's rare. Hanging up, I gazed at the mountains, tears of gratitude flowing. The house deed, now joint, symbolized equity. We turned a room into a shared studio, blending my mementos with Harper's art. Emotions peaked at a family retreat in Chaco Canyon, ancient ruins echoing our history. Hiking the trails, we unpacked final layers, my PTSD flares, Harper's anxiety, Mom's depression. Around a campfire, stories flowed, Dad's laughter, our childhood pranks. Laughter mingled with tears, a cathartic symphony. We almost lost this, Mom said, voice breaking. Harper squeezed my hand, but we fought back with love, not weapons. The lesson settled softly in the face of betrayal. Humanity prevails through empathy and open hearts. Returning home, we hosted a true gathering, no erasures. Just inclusion. Guests marveled at our unity. Posting a photo. Family forged in fire. Stronger in forgiveness. Comments flooded with support. But the real joy was internal, a profound peace washing over me. One dawn, on the porch with coffee, watching the sun gild the horizon, I journaled. The ache of erasure had been soul-crushing, a void threatening to consume. But confronting it with humanity transformed us. Harper joined, hugging me. "You're my hero, not just for serving, but for saving us," Mom added, eyes shining. "We're whole now. The story ends not in triumph, but quiet grace." I mentor with renewed passion. Harper's art flourishes with collaborative pieces. Mom gardens with vigor. The light lesson lingers. Families falter. But with courage and compassion, they rise. My name is Riley, and I returned from war, not to conquer, but to connect.